But it's okay because it is your birthday today. Everyone,
Yes, it is.
everyone say happy birthday to Lunette.
Happy birthday, Lunette. Oh, this is the wrong overlay. Man, I'm good. Hang on 1 second, guys.
I'm also not in the game, so I'll spectate off of you when the time comes, and
You mean when I actually have the right stuff up on stream? Yeah, that'd be an amazing idea. You know, I spent like half an hour making sure that everything was ready today, and then I kind of just fudged everything up. So
yeah. It also says I'm Grizz Rage at the top, so
yeah,
that's cool.
I can't fix that. So you're
Oh
kinda
yeah, you don't
shit out
have
of luck.
one of the things made because
Yeah, I also don't have summoner
Alright.
blockers, so we're gonna have to get by for now. We're gonna have to get by.
Wait, do you mean I can't see the? Oh, okay. I have no idea what's going on, so I'm just gonna say Syndra's banned.
Yeah, Syndra, a really high bursty champion that we've seen in mid. You know, if you pick a really soft AD carry like Vayne, she just has the one-on-one capability to insta-gib anybody like that. So Syndra's a really, really solid ban, and Volibear kind of came out as this hardcore initiator, sort of like Jarvan, just with a bit less crowd control in the recent weeks. So definitely a valid ban.
I would agree with you in that respect because we even saw in the 1v1 tournament Syndra is really great at taking someone from full health to just about 0 health, if not fully to 0 health with her entire combo, and she's also got a stun attached. Granted, it is a situational stun that's a little harder to land, but at the same time, it's a stun nonetheless, and you follow it up with such impressive burst power that it really doesn't matter too much. And she also has a slow as well, so she's a very strong laner, and on the purple team we actually see someone picking up Zac this game. Something that we haven't seen, I don't think ever in the TowerDiveTV tournament, which isn't really saying much because he just came out recently, but either way, we don't really see him played in professional play, and that's mostly because a lot of people don't like his lack of damage very much at all. And one thing, the entire point of Zac is to be a disruptor, basically. He's gotten a lot of, I think the purple team realized that we don't actually have the summoner blockers up yet, as they're going for Cleanse Clairvoyance.
Well, it's okay, because I got him up now. It's cake.
Did you say it's cake?
Yes, it's cake.
Awesome.
Well,
Wait, but if
birthday.
it's cake, then wouldn't it inadvertently be a lie?
Damn it, Azaraki. Stop poking holes in my logic.
I was just trying to make a meme reference there. It wasn't actually.
No, you're terrible. Just shush your cast.
Alright, fine, I'll talk more about the matchups then. We have Leona for the purple team as well. We'll have to see what AD carry she decides to follow that up with. But on the blue team, we have Kog'Maw, who is one of the squishier AD carries, I have to say. Of any AD carry, he's up there with Vayne in terms of the fact that he's very squishy, and especially in the early game, he doesn't really have all that much power. So Leona's going to be a very good pick to play against Kog'Maw. Granted, he does go in the AD carry lane, and we could potentially see a mid Kog'Maw, but that is pretty rare nowadays because his mana costs are so high at the moment for mid.
Technical difficulties, they should all be fixed now. I think everything's good. But yeah, you know, Zac an unusual pick, more so Kog'Maw an unusual pick, especially if they're going to end up pairing it up with Nami. I'd really like to see something else here, considering they already have the Thresh to fill the potential support role. If they end up going for Nami in the support and send Thresh somewhere else, I would really like to see a Nunu rather than a Nami, simply because they're going to need something to try and boost this Kog'Maw's damage. But as you can see, that is obviously not the case, and I'm just getting trolled now.
And it looks like Graves has been picked up as the AD carry to complement Leona, which is, as we've seen earlier today, a great complement to Graves, because Leona's passive basically puts a sunlight proc on whoever she hits with any of her abilities, and this basically allows her to give her AD carry so much more burst, and on someone like Graves, it really, really helps him out, because he's already very bursty. So if you have a Leona stun followed up by Graves, he's going to quick draw in and then buckshot for maximum damage, and that's really going to be hard to play against that. So it looks like for a support, we have Thresh for the blue team, so Thresh, Kog'Maw, they can potentially do more towards the mid to late game rather than the actual early game, which is something, you know, they're going to have to see what they can do to hold out against that. But if they can get to the late game, then it's going to be a pretty good comp, because as we know, Kog'Maw is a great late game hyper carry, and Thresh, oftentimes a good Thresh player will be named the Thresh Prince. And basically, that's because he can land amazing pulls that initiate teamfights and basically win teamfights and potentially the game after that.
And there we go. I went ahead and set up because somebody sent me the wrong overlays, so hopefully these ones will do. And we are into the 3-minute delay now. Final lineups for the blue team. Gonna have Thresh, Kog'Maw, Lee Sin, Rumble, and Lux. And I realized that the moment I get these summoner blockers up, they're pretty much useless. So there's that.
It's alright. So we can actually talk about the summoner's spells now. Although I am watching on the stream, so there's a little tiny bit of a delay, so I can't see them yet. So why don't you give us a rundown of what the summoner spells look like?
Well, you should be able to see it now, but we have actually got an Ignite Flash on the part of Thresh, and a Support Lux, something that wasn't necessarily expected coming into this, but I really like it. Thresh is very strong, even when he's not in that support role. He does have, I've seen him played as an AD carry before. It's hilarious. I don't know if you've ever seen AD carry Thresh, but it's funny. So no, I do think he has the potential for damage. I think a support Lux isn't a bad pick for Kog'Maw, especially going up against a Leona. You know, you can kind of stop that engage the moment that she comes out and you think she's going to Zenith Blade into somebody, or landing that light binding on Graves to stop him from advancing. It's not a bad option to it. I just would have liked to see Thresh down in the bot lane a little bit more.
Yeah, that's very true. Looks like Thresh, he's either going mid or top, depending on what Rumble ends up deciding to go for as well. On the purple team, we have mid Zed, actually, so purple team is actually going to be at a huge loss for magic damage, which is a weird aspect of their comp at the moment, because as we know, Zed does physical damage. They don't really have a mage right now. The most magic damage they actually have is on Singed, who he might be going for a more sort of hybrid AP tank build where he goes Rod of Ages, stuff like Rylai's, things that give him both tankiness and do damage as well, give him AP, and that might be something that I plan to see from this game, because otherwise it's going to be really hard for them to compensate for the fact that they're missing out on an actual mage. Or they could actually be going for Mage Zac. That's possible. I've seen that before,
no.
but in the jungle, doesn't necessarily work too well.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Tank Zac is just much better.
I would love to see a tankier AP Singed here, especially because the blue team is most likely going to be trying to compensate for the overall AD coming out from the purple team. So I think that sneaking that AP into somebody like Singed when they don't necessarily think they have to worry about his damage could be something that ends up turning the tide of a team fight, especially when Singed is just running around being as disruptive as possible with all that poison. But I do like the Zed mid. Zed is a surprisingly strong mid lane character. He works in the same vein that Pantheon does, going AP against an AP. You know, generally AP carries, there's not a lot of investment in armor in the early game outside of getting that Seeker's Arm Guard, but I'm more so talking about masteries and rune pages. There's not a lot of focus in armor, and it's an excellent way to go in and just really kind of torment somebody with the AD damage coming out. And oh god, I have the prettiest overlays in the world. It would just help if I actually put on the right ones.
That would help. A little bit, but I can now spectate your game, and I will be doing so. So I'm glad I won't be casting on by watching the stream, because that has happened once, and it wasn't very fun, I have to say.
I did that once before. Do you remember that game? The sad part is it's probably one of my better color casts that I've ever had.
I'm not sure how that works, but ooh, Jack Sparrow has a special weapon Zac skin, so we can see that he's actually got some confidence in his Zac playing, or at least I'd hope. It's always possible that he has a little bit more RP than he knows what to do with, and goes for just some random skins that come out that he thinks looks cool, but he is playing it in this tournament in the quarterfinal round, sorry. So he's got to be somewhat confident with that at the very least. And as we know, it is Jack Sparrow, Huevos del Equipos. They do fairly well in these tournaments quite often. So I can expect that Zach is going to be a pretty good pick in this. But like we said before, wondering how they're going to compensate for that lack of AP damage.
Yeah, now Zach's skin, just to touch on that really quick, I like calling him Gummy Bear Zach because every time I look at him, all I can think about is a gummy bear. So that's the Gummy Bear Zach skin that he's going for right now. But overall, in terms of team comps, I really have to give it to the purple team right now. You know, not talking about banners, not talking about playstyles or anything like that. I really think they have a very solid team fight. Zach has got the ability to come in and essentially decimate anybody that he wants to and really, really sink into that back line. And there's not enough crowd control on the part of the blue team to really deal with that. I feel like Kog'Maw is just going to get insta-gibbed. He doesn't have really anything to protect himself. You know, you've got the box coming out from Thresh and maybe Rumble's ultimate, but there's no hard peel outside of Lux, who's a skill shot dependent, and with Zed's kit, he's just able to zip right into the back line without having to worry about those light bindings.
Special weapon Zach can also do that very heavy diving as well. He's got actually an amazing amount of mobility for a champ his size. Really, he's got his ultimate, which allows him to bounce up, knock people up whenever he lands, and it's a great ability, along with the long-range elastic slingshot, which is quite possibly one of the longest range jumps in the entire game. I think it actually is. I can't really think of any straight-up jumps that beat it. There is Pantheon, which is technically a jump, but that's more of a well, I guess it's a jump, and you could say that, but it seems more of a teleport than anything, even though the animation is a jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And now I have to turn off chat because some people just want to go ahead and message me in game all the time for no particular reason other than I'm on stream. This happens every week. You would think I'd learn better, but looks like we do have the grouping up for the potential invade coming out from the red team. They may either be looking to catch somebody out or to go in and take this blue buff for themselves. Lux getting a little bit cheeky here, placing a ward very deep into the jungle on the part of the red team right now. That is going to give them vision over the race, and you can see the pings coming out. She doesn't know where anybody is. She knows they're missing, and you can see just what's going to happen from this.
But we can see that it's actually a support Thresh and Lux mid, which is something that I wasn't expecting either.
Wait,
I have to say. Yeah, support
really
Thresh, Lux mid.
now.
Look at those. The summoner spells.
Oh, no, and Rumble here, we do have the flash coming out. Immediate flash that Zenith Blade will not connect. And with a summoner down, it looks like he will be forced to return back to base.
And there we go. I like how Lux and Lee Sin both stood at the bottom edge of the wolf cave just to make sure that they can secure the wolves so that Lee Sin doesn't get too far behind in his jungle. And he was placed, they were positioned in such a way that they could escape into the mid lane if anyone were to come their way, because they really don't have too much hard CC for the red team at level 1. I mean, Leona, she has to get extremely close in order to do that. The biggest threat I can see was the fact that Singed can possibly fling one of them back, but all in all, it was more of a safe, or it was a risky option, but positioned in a safe way. So I like what they did there, and although it doesn't seem like much, it does help them edge out a tiny bit of an advantage.
You know, I'm really surprised more so than anything to see this switch though. The exhaust on Lux is a very interesting choice. And oh, the Thresh hook will go ahead and miss there, but putting a Thresh with Ignite down in the bot lane isn't something that's unheard of. A lot of, oh no, Rumble being flung under that tower. And it looks like Singe will get out of there with just under half health. Now, it's not uncommon for supports to take Ignite these days, especially when your AD carry decides to take on something like Cleanse as opposed to Ignite himself. So it makes sense that Thresh would be down here with this, though I expected to see an AP Thresh for some odd reason.
And a lot of people might be saying, Lux mid going with exhaust AP Lux. What is she thinking? This isn't a good idea. But it actually is. I mean, look at the matchup. A lot of people don't consider the matchups in these situations where she's Lux against a Zed. basically, she can keep Zed from a distance, and if she is able to do that, but we have a gank in the bot lane.
Yeah, nothing actually going to result from that.
Damn.
Though. Zed jumping
Interrupted
in,
myself for nothing. Great.
That. Yeah, continue, Azaraki.
Alright, so basically what Lux wants to do, she wants to keep Zed at a range, and if she wants to use Ignite, then she's not doing that effectively, because Ignite has a much lower range than the rest of her abilities. If there's ever a time where Zed gets close enough to Lux so that she can use her Ignite, then she's doing something wrong, because Zed can get a lot of damage.
In the mid lane, that punch coming out, but the light binding will manage to save her. They will not go for the level 4 tower dive, and Zac will be forced out of there.
And in the same respect, going back to, oh my god, action.
In the bot lane, we see the thresh hook coming out, the stun going down from Leona, the buckshot coming out, but not enough damage from anybody to result in kills.
I feel like maybe the blue team just forcing action around the map just so that I can't reveal their Lux with exhaust secret, but basically if she gets in range to Ignite, or if Zed is in range for her to be able to ignite him, then she's doing something wrong, and Zed can get a lot of damage down because he's more the AD assassin type who wants to get in your face. So basically what she's saying is that, alright, if he does get that close to me, then I have something to combat that with. Whereas if she had Ignite, she'd be able to ignite him and maybe damage him a little bit, but there's a lot of juking that Zed can really be able to do. So if Zed gets really close, she can't really be guaranteed to land her skill shots because he's such a slippery champion.
Coming in the top lane for that gank, the fling will go down, but it looks like Rumble may pick up first blood. Yes, he will pick it up, and now he's going to turn on Zac. That flame spitter coming out with the help of the minions. He may manage to pick him up. No! Zac going to get incredibly low, but he will not fall. That passive still intact. And yeah, I have to agree. Lux taking on Exhaust is a defensive spell as opposed to something offensive, like, you know, one may suspect a Lux mid to take, isn't a bad idea. If Zed tries to all-in her, that Exhaust is really going to help to deaden his damage, and she's going to be in a lot better position for it. Her kit is already strong enough that she should be able to burst somebody like him down with the full combo if she's able to land it, so Ignite might not be needed overall.
Yes, indeed, and I finally was able to get that that explanation, but oh my god, Lee Sin goes in the mid lane.
And it looks like we will have the Exhaust going down and auto attack coming out, but it will not be enough. Instead, going to go ahead and get out of there. And man, directed camera, the one time you fail me. What the hell? And Thresh Pull coming down in the bot lane. And Zac potentially going over this wall with a jump, but he is going to call off the gank. Not wanting to go in, Leona being a little too low.
Now, during that engagement in the mid lane, Zac got out with a very low amount of health. Lux just reached level 6, but no mana.
Yep, there will be the kill. Leona picking that up after coming in with the jump, the punch, and then the stun and root from Leona. Wow, that happened really quick.
Yeah, pretty quick kill. And that just really emphasizes the amount of burst damage that Leona Graves can do. If Leona can land her passive, then it just gives Graves that much more damage, and as soon as he hits level 6, they're going to be able to make so much action happen on this bot lane without even Jack Sparrow coming to gank, because they're just going to have so much burst damage. When Leona hits level 6 as well, that's another stun, that's another 100 damage, that's another passive proc that she can put. And not only that, but Graves has collateral damage, which does, I think, about 300 damage almost, looking at the skill right now.
This top lane for something to happen. Lee Sin is right here. He's spending an awful lot of time up here. He's got to make something happen from this if he wants it to be worth it, but it looks like he's just going to end up backing after picking up a little bit of experience. So no gank's going to come there. That's unfortunate considering how long he spent up there waiting for the potential gank to come out. And now Zac coming in here. Jack Sparrow going in for that jump. Singe will go in, and it looks like a lot of damage coming out. Ooh, the equalizer coming out from Rumble. That flame spitter coming out as well. Will he manage to take somebody down in this? He is going to go ahead and flash out to back off, and Singe and Jack Sparrow not pursuing, but finally, here we go. Singe coming up here, but after an Electro Harpoon, he will go ahead and back off.
Zed looks like he might be seeing if he can do anything to pick up the Rumble kill, but Rumble going the opposite direction, able to escape from that. So it looks like blue buff Going off to Lux, nothing really out of the ordinary there. She's a champ that really benefits from spamming abilities, especially against a champ that wants to be at close range. Like I said, Lux, the more she can do to keep a champ like Zed, an assassin, at long range and do damage to him, the better. And the blue buff just really helps her do that as well. And it lowers the cooldown on her ult, which is already pretty short, but she's going to be able to use it every about 50 seconds.
Yeah, and max CDR, she's going to be able to fire that off about once every 22 seconds, and that is a huge deal for Lux. It's going to be very important come the late game. You know, that's one of the things why support Lux is really nice, but her kit is so tailored for instantaneous burst. I like to see her in the mid lane more than I like to see her in the bot lane. Not that she wouldn't have been a bad pick in this situation, but it looks like we have the kid coming in. He's going to end up jumping back on to Chicken. Lux there going ahead and getting Lee Sin out of there. He's going to get very low, but no kills will result from that mid lane gank.
There will be absolutely no kills, and that's pretty unfortunate, but it looks like Zach might be trying to do something. He uses his jump. Oh, great prediction by Lux. Wow. She saw that with the ward right over there. Right below the...
And in the bot lane, we have some action going on. Kog'Maw coming out with the fire of his ultimate, but Leona's all going down as well. The collateral damage coming out from Graves, and there is the box. He will go ahead and flash over it. And that will be a 1-for-0 exchange in the bot lane. Leona going down after bursting down everything she had. That thresh hook just too powerful.
Oh, by the way, I'm getting told that you might want to line up your summoner spells, or summon icons real quick.
I'm normally really good about that, and that is something that I didn't do this match. Shame on me. You continue to talk. I'll go ahead and do this right now and sit in the cone of shame at the moment.
I will continue to talk, and I want to point out the fact that Kog'Maw has built an Avarice Blade, and we do have a gank in the bot lane as Zac tries to come in for the kill. He goes onto Thresh, and Thresh just barely gets out of there alive with a flash, but don't wake up on Kog'Maw. Able to just turn around. He might be able to pick up the kill on Daisu on Graves, but the last knock-up from Jack Sparrow able to deter that, and it looks like Kog'Maw, he's going to be not killing anything with his ultimate, or I'm sorry, his passive, and all the red team will stay alive after that gank. Graves getting out with just a tiny bit of health.
We did see some impressive damage going down in the mid lane as Lux fired off her ultimate, landing a combo down onto Zed, and it just goes to show how potent that is. Now, Lux only sitting with double Dorns at the moment. Oh no, in the top lane, it looks like the Ignite is down. That Flame Spitter and Equalizer coming out from Rumble will manage to finish off Singe. Now, I noticed Rumble's becoming a lot more popular in the current meta these days.
Rumble, yeah, he's doing pretty well. They did make a change to his ultimate, making it more evenly damaged instead of bringing out a lot of burst damage at the very beginning when he puts down his ultimate, which is Equalizer, but at the same time it still does a ton of damage. It really helps for zoning, and he's one of those champions that can really fight against top lane champs very well because his Flame Spitter does a ton of damage. The drawback is that it's at a very short range. That's the main reason why he can't really be a mid pick against most mids, but against top laners, most of which are melee and who have melee abilities, it's very good because he'll be able to prevent CSing and he'll be able to counter some of the all-in champs that we know.
Just have to see what happens with that, and it looks like Lux is returning up to the mid lane to deter Zac a little bit here. I'm surprised Kog'Maw is doing so well at this point in the game up against a Graves and Leona lane. Kog'Maw doesn't have the best early game, so to actually see him out farming Graves by about 10 to 15 CS right now is a big deal. I mean, he's got these guys on the run as somebody who is a late game hyper carry.
Oh, and there's the Thresh hook in the bottom lane.
And we will have Leona go ahead and engage down onto this Kog'Maw. The stun coming out, followed by the box, and Graves will take a substantial amount of damage from that. Now Leona pinned back, but Zac has come in here. The knockback coming out from Thresh. He will try and pull himself forward, but that stun coming out, and Zac's ultimate going to go ahead and land that kill. It looks like Kog'Maw trying to come in here, which is a little bit, but that jump coming out, and it looks like Lux coming down as well. Zed is here, and now she's backing off, having no mana to come in here, and oh, a nice exhaust from her will help to deaden a bit of that damage, but Lee Sin trying to pursue. Unfortunately, Graves coming up for the assist will not make that a possible kill.
You know, I don't really like having both Zac and Zed in the same game.
It's hard to say their names.
Sometimes I want to say Zed and I accidentally think Zach, and then I have to catch myself in the middle of it, and it's just not fun.
Yeah, I can't imagine so. And in the top lane, it looks like Rumble will go ahead and take down the first tower of the game onto this Singed here. Now, Singed is in a bad position right now. He's totally underleveled right now, but in the mid lane, we do have Jack Sparrow coming in, that punch coming out, the slow is down, but no kills going to result there. Just a little bit of damage down onto Lux.
And in the top lane, we have Rumble putting a lot of pressure onto Singed. Like we said before, Singed is a champ that really has to be close to whoever he's targeting to use any of his abilities except for the slow, which, as we know, doesn't do any damage in the first place. So Rumble is a great pick against Singed, and we've already seen Singed 2 deaths, 59 CS. That's a little over half of what Rumble has. So Rumble, very good counter to this top lane pick right there. And he's also able to zone out Singed pretty well because, as we said before, Rumble's ultimate's very good at zoning. And there we go.
Oh, and it looks like... Oh man, I just totally lost my train of thought by looking at the chat. Never again, never again. I'm a bad caster. It looks like Lux is going to go ahead and pick up this blue buff. Still needing that extra CDR. She has got... Is that a Morellonomicon that I see there? Holy cow, that is a Morellonomicon coming out from Lux right now. And packing on the double Doran, so she's still going to need a lot of that CDR to be as potent as she wants to be. And is just going to go ahead and return to the mid lane.
She will, and I do agree with the Morellonomicon for the most part. It gives a lot of stats that she really likes, cooldown reduction being the main one at that point. And it also gives her that Grievous Wounds passive, which really helps her out. But in the top lane, Jack Sparrow's got a gank.
Yeah, and it looks like the Equalizer will go down. Jack Sparrow coming out with his ultimate, but he's in a world of pain right here as this poor Rumble tries to do something. His Flame Spitter finally coming back up. It will go ahead and pop his passive, but now Singed is on the trail, and it looks like he will go ahead and get out of there. And Lux coming down in the mid lane, her ultimate going down, and he's going to get very low. Graves falling to that auto attack coming out, but Kog'Maw taking this tower here, trying to get a hold of this Leona, and they will go ahead and do so thanks to a nice binding and an auto attack coming out from Thresh.
I really like the fact that Lux roamed down there, and she's been landing a lot of her skill shots very well so far, and it's really helping them win this game, just edge this out a little bit, and it's by far, inconclusive game. It's an inconclusive game. There's not really too much that either team really has an advantage. There's one tower down in the entire game. Singed is fairly shut down, so I think that, he might be able to secure the kill in the top lane, but Singed flings in Ghost, not getting chased. He's definitely going to get out of there. But as I was saying, Rumble, he's not been team fighting yet, so I think when the mid to late game comes and these teams start team fighting, Rumble's really going to impact the game very well. So all in all, I think blue team is ahead in this game quite a bit, but Zach himself is fed quite a bit as well. He's 3-0 actually, wow.
Yeah, and Zed
a little odd for a tank.
Down on it to Lux here. She will go ahead and pull out the full combo after that exhaust went down, but it's not going to be enough. Zed will still manage to pick that up by himself. Unfortunate for Lux there. You know, she had a nice full combo there. She did quite a bit of damage, but it just wasn't enough to negate anything that God damn it, that Zed was putting out.
This game is really close right now. It's hard to tell for anyone. Looking at the builds real quick, Bilgewater Cutlass being built on Zed, he's going straight for Blade of the Ruined King, giving him a ton of lifesteal, which, as Zed is a champ that he could really use that lifesteal on, and there's the Blade of the Ruined King, and it looks like he might be going for Bloodthirster next. Either that, or he's just looking for the very quick spell vamp that he can get for 800 gold from Vampiric Spell Scepter, and by spell vamp I definitely mean lifesteal. But it looks like we might have a gank in the bot lane as Zach's charging up his jump. And
Zach
nope.
Getting ready, and he's just going to end up calling this off, but Leona coming in here anyway. She will go ahead and take quite a bit of damage. Zach coming up, potential tower dive coming up, with the flash going down, and the box is out. Leona in a world of pain right here, but there is vision on her, so they may have managed to pick her up. She's down very low. Thresh auto attack will manage to grab that.
Alright, that's pretty good kill on their part right now. Zach he's finished up his Locket of the Iron Solari, which is a really good item for a jungler, a really good item for first item for junglers as well. It gives him quite a bit of health regen, which helps him sustain through the jungle and have enough health left over in order to do some of these ganks. It gives him armor, which helps not only in the jungle, but it helps him fight some of these fights. And it also gives him health, which is great. But the active is also something that you really can't neglect because it gives about a 100-point shield to everyone around him, which in AoE shield, that's about 500 damage soaked up all together if he gets his entire team in there.
And it looks like Zach is coming down for this gank in the bot lane. The pings are going out, but oh no, Graves will end up falling. A bouncy time is out, but Jack Sparrow not feeling too much pain right now. They will not. Oh, the double kill coming out, and it looks like Zed is in here to clean up on this Kog'Maw. He's still alive, and there we go. The splash damage coming out from it, finally ticking away. Will be shut down, and Kog'Maw getting the unofficial triple kill right there with his passive onto Leona.
And unfortunately, Jack Sparrow's team, Huevos still Equipos, not quite doing their best this game. And we can see that the members of the blue team, they're feeling pretty confident, not really too much armor on their side. Lux has gotten a Seeker's... Lux has built a Seeker's Arm Guard, which is a great item in this case. Lux is one of those champs who doesn't really need the Zhonya's passive at all, but the fact that the Seeker's Arm Guard gives him armor.
I'm just like, I'm watching, you know what's gonna happen, and here we go.
Here
there is the equalizer going out, Rumble trying to go in, but he's forced to back out as Zach is here. I wish he would have engaged just a little bit sooner, and he would have managed to pick up that kill when Singed was closer. Ah! That's so frustrating to see, I'm sorry.
But we also have some aura armor in, I believe. Oh wait, no, Locket of the Iron Solar does not give aura armor. My bad. But it does give the shield, which still helps them out. But right now, most of the blue team's feeling quite confident about their skills, not actually building all that much armor against the red team, even though there are fairly heavy armor comp. I actually see no AP items outside of Singed being built on the red team, so not entirely sure why the blue team hasn't taken more advantage of that so far. But as I said before, the Seeker's Arm Guard is a great item to use in this situation, not necessarily on Lux, because as I said, she doesn't really need the Zhonyas very much, but she does need the armor if she's going to go up against a team like this who's so attack damage heavy.
Yeah, now one of the things that's really interesting to note here is that despite the double AP coming out from the blue team, nobody on the red team has bothered to build an Aegis, but oh, here we go, the Lux ultimate going down on it to Zed. He is forced to retreat, but Zach in here jumping over that wall. Oh my god, that distance. And it looks like Lux trying to get in here, but Graves and Leona here to respond, and now the chase is on. These guys looking for the counter engagement right here. Lee Sin coming in and immediately engaging, but he's going to be in a world of pain right now. Zach coming in and getting down very low. Leona will likely be the first to fall, and Thresh picking up yet another kill, and Kog'Maw coming down and getting the kill onto Zach.
Oh, and it looks like the Lantern spots out
Oh, and in the
Zach
top lane we have the Equalizer Ignite coming out, followed by that Flame Spitter damage, and that will be yet another kill for Rumble onto this poor Singed.
I'm honestly wondering why the red team is deciding to leave Rumble in the top lane, basically just to 1v1 Singed, which clearly hasn't been working, and he's also taking towers as well, which is something that you don't really want a Rumble. You don't really want a Rumble fed. He's already gotten his Rylai's, so his Flame Spitter will be slowing, which is huge for his chase power and his sticking power, so he's able to kill Singed a lot more easily now with that item. So I'm wondering why not too much has been done against him. We saw 1 or 2 Zac ganks in the top lane, but ultimately I really think they need more than a couple of chances to help stop him. And I want to see someone like Zed run up to the top lane to try to get the kill on him as well, but it looks like he's just, no, not quite going back yet. But at the same time, blue team is pretty far ahead. Like I said, Rumble's been pushing top for quite a while. They've gotten that tower advantage. And Kog'Maw, he's gotten his Infinity Edge as well as Static Shiv, both items that he can use pretty well, because Kog'Maw's based around a lot of attack speed because he has a maximum health shred on his W, attack steroid, which really helps out, and it really scales well off of attack speed, so the Static Shiv is pretty good. He's going to be auto-attacking quite a bit, and he doesn't really need the Bloodthirster as much as most other AD carries do, because for the most part, if you're Kog'Maw and you're taking a a high amount of damage, then you're doing something wrong in the first place, and it's going to be hard to get out of that even if you have Bloodthirster. So he doesn't really need that much in terms of lifesteal, because his main goal is to not get hit in the first place, because if he does get hit, then it's just going to follow up with more damage, and it's going to be really hard for him to escape that in the first place.
Oh no, and a gank going down here, and here we go under the tower. Lux in a lot of trouble right now. She will go ahead and get taken down. So that is a three-man dive in the tower. Well coordinated on the part of the red team. Really like that Leona Zenith Blade over the wall, followed up very quickly by Zac. And oh, the shred going down onto Leona. Kog'Maw will go ahead and pick up that kill, and now the chase is on. A flash being forced out, and it looks like Lee Sin trying to come up here to do some damage, maybe try and get a kickback to somebody, but he's just going to go ahead, and Zac coming in here. Kog'Maw following up very close behind, but here is Rumble with the equalizer going out. Lee Sin managing to pick up one kill, but they are chasing the Singed, and this could be very, very bad on the part of Lee Sin. He's taking a lot of damage here. He will go ahead and fall as Graves pumps out that collateral damage, and then Singed yet again falling to Rumble.
That was a team fight that went pretty well for the blue team, I have to say. Obviously, they took 2 kills as opposed to losing a single person on their side, and it'll also help them push the mid tower, which is happening with Thresh and Kog'Maw right now. They're just about to take this tower, and there we go. That's going to give them quite a bit of map control as well as global gold. And speaking of map control, they're pretty much owning a lot of this map. For a second there, the wards are timing out, but we saw a bunch of wards in the top half of the red team's jungle for the blue team. Very nice aggressive warding, because they know that they're the ones who are going to do the aggressing. They're going to be fighting on the opponent's side of the map, but we might actually see something happen against Rumble now, but he flashes out of the way and they won't be able to catch him.
No, a very nice flash there on the part of Rumble, getting out that slow can't land, and that just didn't enable Singed to come up. That means there's no follow-up from Zed, so very nice all around. They do have vision on this Leona, who's kind of forced to back off here. It looks like Thresh might be looking for a pull, but in the top lane, this poor Singed getting picked on, and here we go. Thresh getting down very low. There's 4 people in the mid lane right now. It's a 4v3 at the moment. The pings going down to Dragon. Kog'Maw also getting pinged as well, and it looks like that's going to be their next objective.
And it looks like in the top lane, we have Rumble. He's, once again, that Rylize is being...
Yeah, and here we go, Lee Sin getting engaged on. He is going to have to jump out of here, and in the top lane, that Flame Spitter coming out. Singed gonna get very low, and now Zed forced to jump over this wall. His flash going out as Kog'Maw and Lux look to try and catch out Zed, but that is just not going to happen.
They're going to make a huge push on this bot lane tower, and they're really going to be successful at it, because they're at this point they're so far ahead that they can win a 4v5, and at the same time Rumble's pushing top lane. So the ultimate from Kog'Maw, able to pick up that kill.
Yep, and it looks like Lee Sin is in a lot of trouble here under the turret. He will go ahead and give the kick back into the Thresh pull. And everybody going to go ahead and back out of here. Now Lee Sin still down very low. He's trying to get down over, but yes, he will make it out of there with a nice lantern and a shield coming out from Lux, as well as Lee Sin's own shield. Go ahead and save himself from dying. That was an excellent play on the part of Lee Sin. I didn't think he was going to get out of there. Holy hell.
Yeah, and it's also a great play by Thresh as well to give him the lantern that was able to do that. Very good play, and it looks like Zac might be trying to do something to defend this tower, but I don't know if that's the best idea, as he's getting bursted down.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, and there we go, his passive has been popped, but now Graves is in here. They will try and fend him off, but it looks like Zac is going to go ahead, and no, Kog'Maw with that static shift proc will go ahead and manage to clean Zac up. And it looks like Graves is trying to engage down here onto Thresh, but with that static shift back up, there's going to be a lot of damage going down onto Kog'Maw. The cleanse coming out, the shields are down on him, but he will finally get shut down, and now Leona will end up falling to Lee Sin, and now Kog'Maw picking up Graves. Zed very low here, going to try and take out... Oh no, the Ignite is down! And damage may be saved by that
Lux's shield.
Yeah, coming out from him, and now it looks like in the top lane... Oh no, the surrender votes!
Huevos del Equipos knocked out of the game. That's really unfortunate for them. Always like to see them come back to some of these tournaments, but on the other hand, that is also a great win for, I believe that's NTD Gaming.
Does that mean that we can spectate Lunette's army now since it's my birthday?
Yeah, that's actually the next game coming up. If we follow NTD, they are facing Lunette's army next.